Thanks, Chris. My name is Jack Raynor. I am at Meta. I'm also the new co-chair for the Open Converged Wireless TIP project group. So I'm here to introduce a guest to talk about OpenRoaming and its role in making cellular, specifically public guest Wi-Fi, as good as cellular. I think that's a challenge that we all kind of understand in the Wi-Fi community. How can we make that experience onboarding and transferring between access points as good as cellular, right? If we can accomplish that, it's a major goal. So in order to talk about that, I am here to introduce a person that probably needs no introduction to the crowd, a 20-plus year veteran of the community and advocate for wireless technologies, and currently the Chief Executive Officer at the Wireless Broadband Alliance, Tiago Rodrigues. So give a warm welcome to Tiago.
Thank you, Jack. Yeah, so hi everyone. Great to be here with you. I want to start by thanking Chris and Jack for your kind invitation to be here and talk about OpenRoaming. I think we are going to do a kind of a side chat conversation. I have some slides as well to share. And of course, we can make this interactive as well between all of us. So my talk today really is about public guest Wi-Fi. So I think this is not a novelty for any of us. Okay, technology has these battery challenges. So guest public Wi-Fi is not a novelty for any of us. And as we know, there is plenty of... Third time will be the right one. Yeah, so public Wi-Fi and guest Wi-Fi is, it's in many locations. The most popular ones is all these public locations like convention center, hotels, coffee shops, and all that. But as well, even on private networks, when you look into private Wi-Fi, many of the companies, corporations, and many offices that you guys may have from your companies, you receive guests as well, every day or almost every week, and we need many times to give access to them. And even on our houses, especially if you have teenagers, children at your house, definitely there is always plenty of people to our houses and they need to connect and they are asking for passwords and all that. So there is a gigantic space to improve this experience on this guest and public Wi-Fi, and there is hundreds of millions of Wi-Fi networks all over the world. And today the experience that we all have, and this is not a novelty for any of us, I'm pretty sure you guys saw some of this experience either on the hotels where you are staying or whenever you go to have dinner or lunch somewhere. It's a very fragmented experience, let's be honest. So we never know how to get on the network, or we need to ask for a password, or we need to register and create sometimes frustration. Sometimes we even manage to get into the network, but then the quality is not there, and we get very frustrated because either we need to switch off the Wi-Fi and stay on cellular, or we get even more frustrated because I don't have cellular and I don't have good Wi-Fi. So having this in mind, so WB has been working on this improvement of QoE and QoS over Wi-Fi for public locations, and we come up with the OpenRoaming. That somehow it's a vehicle to improve and try to harmonize the experience across all these type of locations. So it's an open standard, is a roaming federation, but at the same time is an enabler for innovation, is an enabler for the convergence between Wi-Fi and cellular technologies. And as part of that journey, we have been collaborating with TIP and with OpenWiFi, and has been a fantastic collaboration. But let me share just a short video about OpenRoaming, and then I can share some more information about deployments and some use cases.
OpenRoaming by the Wireless Broadband Alliance. Our goal is to enable billions of devices to connect automatically and securely to millions of Wi-Fi networks available to the public globally. Don't you wish you could offer public Wi-Fi to your customers that enabled them to connect as easily and as securely as they do at home? On trains, in public spaces, at hotels and cafes? No searching for networks. No sharing passwords. No tedious registration to get online. Fully secure, no open access networks. They're privacy protected. They just connect. Well, now you can. WBA OpenRoaming enables you to offer automatic and secure connection to Wi-Fi based on industry-approved standards and with a framework that ensures automatic connection to Wi-Fi for the user using well-established industry standards like Passpoint. Secure access. Using state-of-the-art secure interconnection protocols based on WBA public key infrastructure, providing a simple and secure method to establish connection across the OpenRoaming family of networks and users. Identity management. To ensure the right service at the right time, all users on OpenRoaming have their unique identity to guarantee security. Quality of service. Defined by OpenRoaming ensures the user a baseline availability and speed of service, while enhanced tiers deliver higher availability and speed, whilst also ensuring delivery of applications such as HD streaming. And privacy. OpenRoaming privacy policy restricts the use of personal information, PII, to the provision of service, troubleshooting and compliance with the law, meaning Wi-Fi with OpenRoaming ensures a user's privacy is upheld to a gold standard. So what does this mean for your customers? No more searching for the Wi-Fi network. No more shared passwords or open access network. Your customers simply connect, which means they can focus on why they are getting online, providing your business enhanced opportunities for brand engagement and easy free Wi-Fi and monetization options. OpenRoaming creates more customer touchpoints, enhances customer satisfaction with your brand, and provides the ability to promote your business in an engaging way to your customers. It also means you can reduce costs and streamline operations with staff by focusing on your core business. And finally, it opens up new business models and opportunities and provides a simplified way of scaling monetization of Wi-Fi through local-based services, data offload, and Wi-Fi roaming. But this is only the beginning. OpenRoaming is supported by some of the leading Wi-Fi providers in the industry. To get on board and find out more, visit openroaming.org. OpenRoaming, one global Wi-Fi network.
Yeah, and just sharing some more data points. Right now we have over 2 million APs with OpenRoaming active globally. We have more than 400 companies involved on the federation. And we have right now more than 150 POCs running. I see some familiar faces here on the audience. There are programs and projects with some of the companies here. And just to give a small example of a deployment, I captured some data from the WBI last week event in Amsterdam. So we collocated the WBI Wireless Congress with network in Amsterdam. And basically we set up open roaming on the Wi-Fi network of the event. We only activated in about 10% of the APs, so the convention center where the show was has around 600 APs. We activated OpenRoaming in 60 of them. We cover the theater where we have our event as well, some of the exhibition floor. We managed to deliver credentials for all major operating systems, including iOS, Android, Microsoft. And you can see on the screen some of the stats. So we have more than 1,000 unique users. We almost generate 900 gigabytes of traffic. We had around 9,000 authentications requests per hour, people coming in and coming out from the OpenRoaming coverage area. And we have some extra numbers in terms of average session duration around 2 hours. It was interesting as well that in Amsterdam, we managed to do a pilot as well on user engagement. So when we have a fully automatic experience over Wi-Fi, we as consumers, we don't need to select any network, we don't need to know any SSID, there is no password to be somehow used on a captive portal. So the device will do all the work for us. So the device can be on my pocket. As soon as I get under the coverage of the Wi-Fi, the device will know that it can connect because he has a credential that is recognized by the network. But many of the members of the federation, they have been asking, okay, that's fantastic, that's exactly what I want, to have a fully automatic experience, but is there a way that I can interact with the user and I can interact with the devices? So one of the things that we did for the Android platform is to use these CAPPort API capabilities, and as soon as one device attached to the network and is authenticated, we could send them a message, as you can see on the screen, and from that point, the user can touch that message that is available on the notification menu, and it can redirect that user to any type of website. So the idea is, let's imagine I come into this convention center, I enter by the door, I get connected automatically to the Wi-Fi, and then I can look into my notifications menu of my smartphone, and I can touch and receive a message from Fyuz, for example, saying, welcome, Tiago, to the show. There is the agenda for the day, or there is the whatever activities going on. And then that can make the experience much more richer, and can open up a lot of innovations and different business cases, use cases that can be deployed for specific verticals. And at the same time, just to finalize, and maybe we start questions and with regarding OpenRoaming. We come from this vision that definitely today on the guest public Wi-Fi, it's a very fragmented experience. We all know it's frustrating sometimes. OpenRoaming is a vehicle that we believe it can solve two big issues that we recognize, at least in WPA, on the industry. So one is try to harmonize this public Wi-Fi guest experience, regardless if it's a free access or if it's a paid access. Let's try to harmonize the experience so I can go from one network to the other, and I don't need to be asking for passwords. So imagine myself yesterday, so I was in my hotel in the morning, so I need to find a password. Then I was coming here, I come here to the show, I need again to go look for the password, and then I go have dinner out once more. If I want to get connected to the network, I need, I don't know, talk with the restaurant or the places where I go, and once more find the password to connect. It's a very tedious process that really is not up to the state that we believe Wi-Fi experience could be. And the second one, at the same time, OpenRoaming can be the first step for the mobile carriers and operators to look into the Wi-Fi with more confidence and somehow to rely more on Wi-Fi to expand their capacity, their coverage, and they use more Wi-Fi, especially on public locations, as a complement of their macro cellular networks. And I believe OpenRoaming is a first step that can make that experience much more valuable.
Yeah, thanks, Tiago. Can you talk a little bit more about that interoperability and specifically maybe about private and public networks and how those are going to be enabled in cellular and how we might interact with them.
Yeah, so I can share from the angle that for us to interconnect these millions of Wi-Fi networks, we needed to disrupt the model. So if we go to the GSM world, and now I will bring my past experience on the mobile side. So we have more or less 3 or 4 operators per country. We have more or less 300 countries or 200-something countries in the world. So more or less is a matrix of 1,000 by 1,000 operators, and they just need to interconnect their networks. So it's a big number, but it's feasible. But when we go to the Wi-Fi, the numbers are just gigantic. It's not 1 or 2 or 3 networks per country. It's millions of networks per country. So that creates a situation that we cannot try to solve the interconnections between different networks one by one. We need to bring a model that everyone can join immediately, and as soon as I join, I will have access to all the networks. That's where we bring this concept of roaming federation to facilitate that as soon as I join OpenRoaming, I'm a trusted party of the federation. Immediately I have access to all the million of networks available around the world. And that is the way that can bridge this gap of interoperability and roaming between networks.
Yeah, thank you. Sometimes when you're up here and you're giving a presentation and you're going through slides, everything seems easy. So I guess what are the largest challenges you see we need to overcome? Maybe to top 2 or something, right?
Yeah, it's a challenge. It's a challenge today. First challenge is, and this is number 1 for me, is to get benefit from OpenRoaming, we need to have a credential on our devices. And we really need to massify the distribution of those credentials among devices. So OpenRoaming is based on the passpoint technology. So passpoint technology is based on credential profile, credentials type of approach. So I need to have that credential on my phone. And we have been seeing multiple approaches. So I can say that, for example, Samsung come up with the idea, okay, I'm going to create an OpenRoaming profile to all Samsung devices based on the Samsung account for the App Store. So Samsung knows that I'm Tiago, I'm registered on their App Store, so immediately if I have a Samsung phone, they automatically create that credential. And from that moment on, those devices can go anywhere and they connect. So definitely, credential distribution is one challenge. The other challenge that we have been trying to solve with OpenRoaming is passpoint has been around for almost 10 years, probably more than 10 years in the industry, and is even for the networks to deploy passpoint is a complicated thing. So it's a complex setup, so you need very skilled engineers and experts to deploy a passpoint network. That's why passpoint until recently has been only adopted by carriers and operators. We don't see a venue like this one or a coffee shop deploying a passpoint network. So that challenge that we have been trying to address is how can we make OpenRoaming configuration on the APs as simple as I click on a button on the configuration menu, I choose the name of my SSID, and from that moment on, I'm part of OpenRoaming. So we have been working with many of the AP manufacturers and equipment manufacturers to make those menus super easy, super simple, that anyone can activate OpenRoaming.
I'm glad you used the word click a button. I think OpenWiFi has implemented OpenRoaming in our 2.6 release earlier this year, and I think we call it the easy button, right? I think it's actually what we call it, so it's pretty cool, right?
And by the way, there is an OpenRoaming demo on the OpenWiFi booth, so I invite any of you that have interest to test and get the feeling of OpenRoaming. Yeah, pass by there, and it will be awesome to test it.
Yeah, so on the demo floor, there's 17 open Wi-Fi access points deployed up there, and there's an OpenRoaming SSID and also an open Wi-Fi SSID. And if you happen to have a device that supports the 6 gigahertz network, we also have a 6 gigahertz 6E access point that you can try out. So we got a lot of cool functionality up there. I think we have about 10 minutes left, so I'll turn 5. I'm getting the 5 signal. So I'll turn it over to the audience for any questions. We might be going sooner. I will say, go ahead, Chris. Chris is always the best.
How could I pass up a chance to ask Tiago a conversational on open Wi-Fi, open roaming? We heard from Myopsis in the last panel about residential. I'm curious. A lot of tier 1 operators have asked, certainly in open Wi-Fi, when we talk to them around. We like the idea of managed MDU service. We like the idea of also having subscriber ability to have control over their own Wi-Fi in their premises. We absolutely love the idea of a tertiary Wi-Fi inside the customer's premises that the customer can't fiddle with, but that the controller has full autonomy over. And with that tertiary SSID, is that a fantastic opportunity for open roaming to help solve CSP offload in MDU properties or any properties for that matter?
Yeah, definitely. That's why I see and I advocate that open roaming is the first step for mobile carriers to enter on. Okay. So I was saying, so yeah, open roaming is the first step to have that seamless experience that can allow the Wi-Fi offload. So talking with many of the mobile carriers, there is no somehow interest in doing a Wi-Fi offload when we as the user, we need to type in a password. So that's not what the cellular industry is aiming and looking for. They want the ability to have an automatic experience. They want to have the ability that, okay, Tiago, that is my customer, is entering on this venue. By the way, I know that my cellular coverage indoor is poor, so I will give him the possibility to attach to the Wi-Fi network. And even in some cases, they may decide, okay, Tiago is coming to this venue. By the way, I have a wonderful cellular coverage, so I don't want that he connects to the Wi-Fi, so we can stay on cellular. And I think that is critical for the mobile carriers get involved and start utilizing more the Wi-Fi as a complement to their networks.
Yeah, I think we're running out of time, but I will say, you know, in sitting in the audience and watching the presentations and being up here and getting to chat with Tiago, we're all here, I think, for a similar cause. We believe in open disaggregated networks, and we are advocates of the Wi-Fi community, and we all have residential products and enterprise products and standards that we're all trying to deploy over those products. I think it would be pretty cool if we collaborated on some kind of demo that works over these standards and different technologies at some event where we all might be present. I think that would be pretty cool from a Wi-Fi industry open source community perspective to say that we all are here and doing this together. So please, thank you, Tiago. Please give Tiago a nice round of applause.